Hi everyone, I just wanted to give you a quick video overview of your critical assignment and my expectations and all of the components that are required for it. So in each course that you take here at CBU Online, you will have a capstone project, and that's what we call a critical assignment. So it's like your final project in the class. This one for this class is a presentation on the Affordable Care Act. This is due in week 8. It is due on the Thursday of week 8. So remember that. Keep in mind it's due Thursday, right? Not Sunday at midnight. But again, due Thursday at midnight. Similar to how your group completed a presentation in week 4, this critical assignment is also a presentation. So again, it is not a paper. You're not turning in a PDF or a Word document paper to me, but you're creating a presentation on the Affordable Care Act. So think about, again, how you would present in front of a classroom. So maybe you're going to have a PowerPoint, a Prezi. This is where you could use Screencast-O-Matic. That's the software that I'm using right now. It's a free website, and you can record a 15-minute video. And I find that it's really easy because you can have, I don't have any PowerPoints open, but you can have something open on your screen, talk about it, and then just move on to the next slide, another window, or whatever it might be. So it's a really useful website. And also what's helpful to me is if you turn in just a link, if you can upload your MP4 video file to YouTube and send me a video link or just the MP4 link itself, is much easier for me to open and download and view. It's much faster than to download an entire PowerPoint file that has audio with it, because that takes me much longer for all of my students. So I would really appreciate that. So in your critical assignment, here is what you are doing. You will describe the interrelationship between the U.S. healthcare delivery system and public health, and you're going to distinguish public health-based prevention strategies from curative strategies. So remember, in public health, we're thinking of things like preventive care, population health. In the medical model, we may, we're looking at perhaps primary care, and things like that. So just the interrelationship between the U.S. healthcare delivery system and public health. You're going to critically examine and analyze the role of the ACA, describing the major components, the responsibilities and structures, and its effect on the U.S. healthcare delivery system. So it is true that there were many people who, a large percentage of our population who did acquire health care as a result of the ACA, but there are also those who either lost health care coverage or ended up paying more as a result. So I want you to discuss those disparities as well. Who is covered under the ACA? So for example, children up to the age of 26 can still be covered in their parents' health care plans. There's no restrictions for pre-existing conditions. So those are the types of things that I want you to discuss. And now that it's been several years, almost a decade now, wow, right, since its implementation, I want you to talk about what's changed. Have there been any policy changes? Is it still working? So just be as detailed as possible. You're going to compare and contrast the organization, the structure, function of healthcare, public health, and regulatory systems across an international system of your choice, and compare that with the American model for health. So for example, you will choose the healthcare system in Canada, for example, and compare that with the U.S. model. Okay, do they pay for their healthcare coverage? What are the differences? How long does it take for them to for Canadians to see a specialist? You can even discuss things like their maternity leave plans. So comparing and contrasting an international system with the U.S. model. Identify specific methods and policies that are currently in practice in another country that provide healthcare access and the resulting healthcare expenditures of that country. So are the healthcare expenditures in France, in Germany, greater than or less than what we spend here in America? And what is the coverage? What is the satisfaction rate of that country's healthcare services? Also, explain potential lessons that the American healthcare system can model based on that country's practices. So if you find that whatever country you chose has a great healthcare system, then great. You want to be able to explain those types of things and what are some lessons that we can learn. Perhaps there are some things that we do here in the U.S. that are beneficial, maybe working a little bit better than the country that you researched. So make sure you discuss those. Finally, you should provide a detailed explanation of the strengths and challenges of the ACA, which includes an analysis of relevant resources and the significance to the field of public health, and an explanation of possible future directions. Again, as I mentioned, that so many years have passed since the initial implementation of ACA. Let us know, is it still working? What are some changes? If you ran, if you were the head of the Department of Health and Human Services, what are some changes that you can make? What are some potential directions that you see that us needing to go in the future? Okay, so you can use this as a checklist to make sure that you have all of the components that I'm asking for. Remember, you don't need to be, you're not including paragraphs of information in your PowerPoint slides. I don't want you to read from your slides, but I want you to be speaking to me and discussing and explaining these things to me. What did you find in your research? So that's, I want you to support all of your facts, obviously, with details from research. Okay, again, this is a presentation, and I say that so many times it may sound repetitive, but I do not want you to turn in a paper because there's always somebody in the class who does. So make sure that your presentation is academically sound, it's professional. Make sure you're proofreading it. Have a classmate or a family member proofread it too, so you don't have any grammatical errors. Include some visuals, videos, just make it creative. Strongly supported with a minimum of 5 academic or scholarly research sources. In your annotated bibliography, I only require 3 of those to be academic references. So here, make sure that at least a minimum of 5 are academic references. Those include things like academic journal articles, .gov websites, our textbook, obviously, your other books count as well. And if you have any questions on how to access our CBU library, they have an awesome search engine system for accessing academic journals, and it's really useful. All of you as students have access to that. So if you have any questions there, let me know, and I'm happy to help you through that. Okay, again, you should be clear, objective, engaging, and of course, containing both audio and visual components. As a reminder, the critical assignment for this course must be passed at a minimum of 80% in order to pass this course. So as you may know, all courses in the, that are master's level courses must be passed at a minimum of a B- to count for degree completion. And the critical assignment for this course must be passed at a minimum of an 80% in order to pass this course. So if you submit a paper that has no visual or no audio components, if you just don't turn in a critical assignment because you're getting an A in the class and you don't think the points matter, you can't pass the class. So make sure that you are creating a quality critical assignment. It should be an example of your best work, the culmination of your best work in this class, and I always love viewing them. So again, if you have any questions on any of the content, my expectations, don't let there be any surprises. Contact me, email me, let me know. Let's meet either face-to-face or via WebEx and get all of those concerns addressed. I've attached a link to a sample presentation here. This presentation is not from this class, so don't be confused. It's from one of my undergraduate courses, but I just include it so you can see the type of visual. So this is simply a sample of a student's PowerPoint with her audio recording. So I just wanted you to see a sample of what I'm expecting, and it's just one type of example. Again, a lot of students do really creative things on Prezi, using VoiceThread. Microsoft Sway is another presentation format that you can use where you can include audio bits and video as well. So just be creative. Of course, all your final submission should be professional in grammar, writing style. You should be including your in-text citations within the slides whenever you are using outside references. And then obviously you won't technically have an APA title page, right, with the running head since it's a presentation. So you'll have just some sort of title slide, perhaps if you're using PowerPoint. But your final slide, or whatever I see last, and make sure to include that in your video, should be a list of all of your references. Those must be listed in APA format, and that's where I'll be checking for your 5 academic sources. Okay, hope that eased a lot of your concerns and questions about the critical assignment. Again, if you have any questions, please contact me and let me know. I'm more than happy to chat with you, especially if this is your first course, your first critical assignment. Let's make it a good one so we can start you all off on a good note here at CBU. Okay, have a great week, everybody. Look forward to talking to you soon.